Well, welcome everyone. I'm here today in the studio with Derek Rydell, and I first met Derek or heard about Derek probably 10 years ago. And I don't remember what platform it was on, but he spoke directly to my soul. And you guys that know me, that's how I live. So I wanted to connect with Derek about his Awaken Wealth Mastery program because he brings such wisdom and depth and he speaks directly to our souls. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about Derek. He is one of a new generation of spiritual visionaries and thought leaders. And he has written a book, Emergence, 7 Steps for Radical Life Change. And he has a new book, well, relatively new, The Abundance Project, 40 Days to More Wealth, Health, Love, and Happiness. And I have to say, his writing is very similar to the way he speaks with us. His writing goes right into your heart, right into your soul, right into the core of who we are. And I love that about him. He's worked with celebrities and has had many, he's a frequent podcast guest. He's got just so much wisdom for us. So instead of reading all about him, I want to have him share directly with us all of the juicy knowledge and wisdom that comes forward from his being and essence. Now, Derek, one of the things when we talk about wealth and we talk about money, one of the things that I don't hear many people talking really fully about is the shadow part of money and how that has impacted us so deeply in ways that we don't even consciously understand. Because of your study in money, I'm wondering if you would share with us your perspective on how the shadow has programmed us, imprinted us, and really kind of taken over our subconscious so that we're, the way that we're living our lives is really from the shadow place rather than from the light part of money. Can you delve into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the first things, there's so much there. I talk about the hypnotic wealth spells and that we've been hypnotized by a lot of limited and shadowy beliefs about money or wealth or just abundance in general. What is that great saying? Money is the root of all evil. And really the saying is the love of money is the root of all evil. And so there's so much baggage, there's so much fear, there's so much attachment and really wrong thinking around wealth and abundance and money. And that statement itself is a shadow if you don't understand what it really means. And hopefully we'll get into what it really is saying, because when you understand what it's really saying, it frees you from the shadows of wealth. But and maybe I will just talk a little bit about it, and then we'll go into some other areas. But it's saying the love of money is the root of all evil, and we'll talk more about it. The real nature of wealth is not money, is not things. It's not dollars and stocks and cabbages and kings. It's not the fruit on the tree. It's the invisible source of that fruit. And if you believe the fruit or the things are wealth, then you will do whatever you have to do to get more of those symbols. You will sacrifice your truth and integrity. You will twist yourself into a pretzel. You will attack. You will cajole, control, manipulate, even kill or die for these symbols. And then all you have is a piece of fruit in your hand that will rot in your hand and ultimately be of no good. If the farmer held the fruit on the tree, it would rot. The tree would stop being able to produce more fruit, and the trees would become barren and eventually die and stagnate. And so that's really saying the love of the symbols of wealth is the root of all evil. And so that's the first thing to understand, is that we have a deep, deep misunderstanding of what real wealth and abundance is. And we've been conditioned to go after something that is fool's gold, that isn't the real thing itself, and that takes us completely out of alignment and integrity with who we really are, and puts us on a treadmill that has no end to it and no peace to it, and is really at the core of so many of the things that we suffer with. But the other thing, when you really understand the real nature of it, that it's this invisible supply, it's the deep soil of our soul where the roots of the tree of life are planted in, then you can understand what one master said when he said, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And you begin to understand that life is pure abundance. So there's a lot of stuff underneath that, partly because it's a religious background. A lot of spiritual, heart-centered people, like many people listening now, have a lot of shadows around wealth, that wealth is bad, that if you want more and you have so much, you're greedy or stingy or insensitive or uncaring. That's all shadow. Greedy, stingy, insensitive, uncaring. Those are 4 big shadows around wealth. And they're also shadows around power and security. And money problems is almost never about money, even when it is. It's really about these shadows. It's really about what we really want is the feeling of enoughness, is the feeling of that we're good enough, that we're strong enough, that we're safe, that we're secure, that we're supported, that we're taken care of. And so when you embrace, and we won't maybe go into all the elements about how to embrace these shadows, but it's important to know that whatever judgments you may have and that you may have grown up around, whether it's from the church or from other authorities, maybe your parents struggled over money, or like in my case, the more successful my dad got, the more our family began to fall apart. The less he could see me and be with me. And I was an artist, and he was like, you can't be an artist. I live below the poverty level, and you need to be a businessman or whatever. And there were so many associations with wealth and success that were pure shadow for me, because to me, it meant pain and suffering and the breakdown of the values I cared about, artistry and heart and love and connection. And so I had a lot of those shadows. It's destructive. It's uncaring. It's greedy. It's selfish. And I struggled for so many years to have enough. And I didn't realize that I wanted more in my life. I wanted to be a successful artist, creator, person. And I kept struggling, and I didn't realize I had one foot on the gas with what I wanted, but the other foot was on the brake. And that was my shadows, because to go for that meant I was greedy, selfish, mean. I was going to lose my heart and lose my art and lose my soul. And so there was this constant values conflict until I learned what these shadows were, and I learned how to embrace them, and discovered that all of those parts of us that are shadowy, that we think are bad or evil or we're trying to get rid of, are actually parts of our power, parts of our genius, parts of the wholeness of our being. And when we learn to integrate them, selfishness becomes deep self-care, self-love, and greediness becomes divine hunger for more love, more truth, more of the goodness of life, and on and on. And those shadows finally get brought into the light of day. But this is a big piece I want to share, because this is where a lot of spiritual malpractice happens. We think that healing and growing and stepping into the light means turning greediness into givingness, and selfishness into selflessness, and anger into happiness, and turn your frown upside down. And that is not what it means. The soil that is where everything grows out of, the whole of earth, everything that keeps us alive comes from this soil. Well, what is soil? It is everything that is died and rotted and decayed. It is pure, concentrated death. That's the substance out of which all of life blossoms. And when the seed grows, if it tried to grow the way a lot of us spiritual, heart-centered people tried to grow, it would pray away all the dirt. And finally, it would be on top of a rock, free at last, no more dirt. I'm clean and whole, and step out into the sun, and the sun would shine on that seed and burn it to a crisp. So luckily,
as a gardener, I love that metaphor.
Yeah, it's true.
Because luckily, it is the crap that turns into gold for us.
Exactly. It's all the crap, all the shit, all the darkness, all the death and decay and rot of past forms makes the more of that, the more fertile the soil is. that deep, dank darkness, the seed plants it and buries itself in it. And it turns it not into a tomb, but a womb. And now the sun shines on that, activates the light and the life that is encased and is literally in the dark, dank dirt. It is light and life in potential. And the seed cracks open. But then again, how does it grow? Does it grow up, up, up to the light, ascend off the planet, become an ascended master? No, it grows down, 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 deeper. And the deeper the roots, the taller the shoots, and the richer the fruits. And the deeper the roots in the darkness, it can withstand the storms, it can withstand the droughts, it can withstand the fires, and it will still remain and become and sprout more green because it's got deep roots.
I love that part about the womb, because there is a phase where we are in the womb and we are nurturing the fetus, so to speak. We're nurturing what is going to be growing from us. And I have a lot of people who are in that womb phase. And so could you give us maybe some hope that it's okay to be in the womb? It's okay to spend time having your roots growing down deep before the full blossom, that comes up above the surface that people can see.
It's not only okay, it's how we are designed to grow in this dimension. Yeah. In this dimension of 3D, we need polarity. In this dimension of 3D, the positive and negative are not opposites. They are not, I want positive and not negative. If you have positive and no negative, you have a broken circuit. And when there's a broken circuit, there's no circulation. Selflessness without selfishness is a broken circuit, and there's no circulation. If you just breathe out and breathe out and breathe out, you die. You have to breathe in. You have to selfishly receive the oxygen. But then if you just breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, you die. You have to give it away. You can't give what you don't have. And a lot of us heart-centered, spiritually minded people have fallen into that trap. And maybe we'll talk more later at the end. We'll talk about how I'm going to really make people master this. But we developed a conditioning. And so a lot of us are just breathing out all the time and wondering why we're gasping for air, and we're burned out and overwhelmed and breaking down and pissed off because we're gasping for air. So you have to have it in order to give it. And then once you have it, you cannot keep it unless you give it. It has to circulate. And then finally, you must be willing to receive it for it to be sustainable. So you have to breathe in, you have to breathe out, and you have to receive the breath back in again. This is true with every area of your life. If you're in relationship, you have to fill yourself with love and respect and appreciation. You can't just wait to receive it. You're the source of it. You have to give it to yourself. Then you have to give it away. And then you have to be willing to receive it without deflecting, blocking, or denying it. That's a complete circuit. And so when you're in the womb, you're developing roots. You're developing one side of this circuitry. And if you're just out there going, doing, your roots dry up. You no longer are pulling of the pure substance of life from your being. And eventually you stop producing fruits, whether that's in relationship where you're just giving and doing and taking care of everybody, or whether that's in your creative work where you're just always going, thinking you got to do more. Whatever that is, you have to have the silence. You have to have the pause. It's the pause that makes it music and not just noise. It's the emptiness within the clay pot that makes it a pot, not just a block of stone. It's the seventh day of rest that allows creation to exist. So you have to be in the womb. You have to dig your roots deep. And it's not fun all the time. It's not comfortable. And I'll speak from very direct experience. I've been doing all this work for years. I had a successful life, business, whatever, and I was married for 23 years. And it was becoming evident that contract was completing. But it wasn't like, oh, cool, no problem. Let's just step out of this marriage and it's all good and fine. It was horrible. It was painful but I had the practices to dig my roots during that dark night. The dark night of the soul, or I call it the dark night of the soil. You have to, it's during that darkness, in the dark womb, that most of the deep work that will eventually create the most sustainable outer expression takes place. And I thought I'd even done all the work, but I was doing most of it in the light. And when my marriage ended, I lost everything for a time. I thought I wasn't going to have my family, my kids, home, finances, everything fell apart. Even my body began to fall apart. And I did what we're talking about, and a lot more that I can share, the real work in the womb, in the soil, digging deep and embodying and activating parts of me that were dormant for so long, that had been in winter for so long. And there was a time where I couldn't see where it was going. I couldn't see what was growing. And all I could do is like lean on the darkness, lean on that, even a pinprick of a truth and of a knowing and of a feeling that I was cultivating deep work. And as I came out of that, all of the work I'd been doing for years, where I seemed to have no fruits, suddenly, like the Chinese bamboo tree that you plant and water and weed and feed, and for 5 years, nothing happens. And if you don't go find the person that sold you those damn Chinese bamboo seeds and kill them eventually, or give up, it grows 80 to 90 feet in a matter of a week or two. So, and that's what happened to me. I've been telling that story for years, and suddenly I was living it. And I had to keep remembering, it's working, it's growing. It seems like nothing's happening, but I'm laying down a deep root system in the womb of creation. And on the other side of that, I had a deeper love. I'm married to the love of my life, the woman literally of my dreams, my family, my kids, my relationship with my former wife, abundant, beautiful, loving, richer, more friends, more community, more wealth, more success, more creativity, more and more and more fruits just keep unfolding. But I had to pass through that womb stage. And disclaimer, small print, if you really want to have a life of meaning, purpose, power, potential, and unlimited, ever-expanding abundance, you pass through the winter of the growth cycle over and over again. And I really want to help prepare you guys for how to move through winter, not just how to try to make everything stay spring and summer, because it doesn't in this dimension. There's a constant cycle.
I'm so glad you're saying this, because it is sometimes easy to get stuck in that winter stage. And for those who have developed a strong mastery of going through the winter stage, you can have winter, spring, summer, fall simultaneously, because you've developed those muscles of strengthening yourself to be able to go through the deep, crappy parts while there are things blooming on the surface.
Yes. Yeah, you do start to develop I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're speaking to a very important point. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, as you go through those cycles, the first, second, third, maybe, you always feel like I'm never going to get out of this. It's never going to end. This is it. It's horrible. I've lost everything. And what you're really bumping up against is the capacity of your faith, the capacity of your ability to live by insight versus eyesight, because we're conditioned to determine what's true, what's real, who we are based on if we can touch it, taste it, and measure it. As you go through those cycles, you're developing the capacity to see in the dark. And as it says in the Bible, and the darkness and the light are alike to thee, and the darkness shines as the day. And you begin to discover a capacity in you, a part of you that becomes more and more identified with the light, even while you're moving through the darkness. There's actually a tribe that practiced, or maybe still practices, in the darkest times of the year, moving through the forest and all that, where you can't even see your hand in front of your face. And it physiologically, it activates the pineal gland, and they begin to see the light, the prana, the luminosity coming off of everything. And so I'm getting chills even as I talk about it. So I know it's landing. They begin to literally see light everywhere while others are bumping into things, because there's light everywhere. The darkness is pure light, but we need to bring it into more and more potential. So what eventually happens is you don't freak out as much when winter comes, and it's not such a scary thing. You're like, oh, I'm about to grow. I'm about to have deeper roots. I'm about to access and activate more of my fruits of potential. And I know it's going to feel hard at times, but there's a part of me that is witnessing it. I am beholding God's unfolding. I'm in the world, but I'm not entirely of it anymore. And so with each cycle, you get a little freer and a little more identified with the you that is never broken, never limited, with the life force that moves through the seed and cracks it open, instead of just believing you're the little shell that's shattering. You become a little more aware of that, and you become a little more at ease. And now even more life can pour through you. So you get better at walking through that darkness and seeing the light and being the light. And then you can also be the light for others that are walking through that darkness as well.
And I really want to bring that home to what's happening right now on the planet, where we're perceiving chaos. Things in politics are crazy, and it seems like things are getting worse and worse. But we know that what's happening is this is our opportunity to really shine, to really rise up and shine, because we know that all this imposed darkness and chaos is really, as you said, activating our pineal gland, activating our prana. This is, the external kind of pushing in on us so that we can push back and say, no, wait, we're creating something different. So if you can, does that land with you, Derek?
Absolutely. And this is the other thing that begins to happen. We've been also conditioned, again, because we think, and this connects back to the wealth. I mean, people are like, what does that have to do with wealth? It has everything to do with wealth. Yes. And creating abundance and becoming free, a free, liberated being that is no longer caught in the matrix of materiality and form and structures. One of the pieces of that is we see things happening in our life and in the world, and we think we have to save the world or stop and change the pictures of the world. But actually, no, we're not here to save the world. We're here to serve the emerging paradigm, the emerging potential. When the seed is cracking open, you don't go, I got to save that poor seed. It's falling apart. My life is ruined. No, you are serving. The farmer and the gardener isn't saving the seed. It's serving what's emerging from it. And so when we see all these shells cracking around the world, and in your own life, your bank account falling apart, your business falling apart, your body, your relationship, we got to save it. No, you have to get in touch with what is emerging through that crack, what is emerging through that breaking shell, that breaking seed, that crumbling form, because form always has to change for more of what is present and available to emerge forever, never ending.
How do we get in touch with what wants to emerge? Because people who don't know their soul mission or their soul purpose, people who aren't in touch with that deep part of themselves, how do they access that?
Absolutely. Well, there's a few things. Again, there's so much here to talk about, but the first thing is to get in touch with your deepest desire, that burning desire, and recognize that desire comes from a root that means of the sire or of the father or of the creative impulse. That desire is not a sign of something outside of you have to get. It's a sign of something inside of you trying to get out. So you're pregnant with something. When the mother feels the kick of the baby, that's an analog to desire. It's not a sign that, oh, I want a child now. She doesn't go, oh my God, I want a child. I feel the kick of a child. I want to go get a child. If she did that, she would go insane. And eventually those men with good upper body strength and white coats would take her away. So instead she goes, oh, there's something in me trying to get out. Let me nurture it. Let me feed it. Let me prepare myself for delivery of it. Let me prepare my space to give birth to it. So we get in touch with our burning desires, whether it's we're in a relationship, we want more love, more joy, more appreciation, more passion, whether we're in the world and we want to give of our creative abilities, we want to have a better job and a better expression of our work and our purpose and our mission. All of that is a signal, is the kick of that which you are pregnant with that's trying to be born. And in this new paradigm, you have to get in touch with that. You have to begin to speak to that like a mother does to the child, and let it speak to you, and begin to dream about it and feel and imagine what that child is going to be as he or she is born into your life. The same thing with that desire. And then you realize that whatever's missing is what we're not giving birth to. And you start to feel, and as you do that, you activate the frequencies and the energies and the feeling of it's happening. And that state of it's happening, that state of feeling excited, feeling inspired, feeling abundant, feeling like something is emerging, that is a signal of abundance. And for example, what I like to say in the Awaken Wealth model is that, as I said, whatever's missing is what you're not giving. If you're in a relationship right now and you can't see, you don't feel loved enough, a relationship with your work, your boss, your partner, whatever, is that whatever's missing, you have to begin giving it to yourself first. As I said, that's the law of circulation. So you don't try to change the partner or the person or necessarily the job situation. You begin to imagine and feel into what is the relationship you want. What is the job condition you want? What is the vision that your heart wants to give birth to in your life? And as you use some of the tools we know, like visualization and things like that, you're not visualizing to make anything happen. You're doing it to make something welcome. And you are getting in touch with it because the vision is here now. It's not in the future. But your dreams don't come true. You must become true to them. You have to begin to cultivate a love affair and a relationship with that. And then you can ask questions like, let's just say it's a job environment and you have a bigger vision for your life. Maybe you're working in a job that seems to be terrible and you're not valued, appreciated, or compensated the way you want. And by the way, none of this is theory. I've done this in every stage, in every area of my life, and trained people how to do it all around the world. In the job from hell, the relationship from hell, broke, living in their car, to living in the home of their dreams. But and each time it was always about them getting in touch with that was trying to emerge, beginning to give themselves permission to see it, to describe it, to define it, and then to feel it. And then to ask, if I was living that already, how would I think? How would I feel? Who would I be? And what would I do? So it's the habits of thinking, feeling, being, and doing. And then instead of waiting for some future when life's going to happen to you, which it doesn't, it never happens to you. It can only happen through you. You can take back the power of being a divine power plant and a generator. And like a mother is generating and giving birth to life, you have that same power to give birth in every area of your life. So now you feel into that. If I was living at the job of my dreams, some of you might have heard my story about when I was a waiter and I had a big vision, a big dream, and I had a waiter job from hell. And I began to show up as if it was the job of my dreams, bringing the me that I would be if I was living in the job of my dreams. So I brought excellence. I brought 5-star service in a 3-star restaurant. I brought love and enthusiasm and inspiration, and I got pounded. The waiters thought, who the hell do you think you are? You're making us look bad. I got fired 3 times from that job. And every time they hired me back, because there was nothing I had done wrong, I was just becoming so much that they didn't know what the heck to do with me. And eventually, as I kept doing that and digging deep and having the vision and cultivating me, becoming, as Gandhi said, the thing I want to see in the world, the life that I want to live, by bringing it, not waiting for anybody, but bringing it. On the final time when I was going to get fired and we eventually parted, within a month, I went from making $50 a day to $1,000 a day. I went from being serving people in a 3-star restaurant to being wined and dined in 5-star restaurants all around the country, and from having a passion for a mission to living it. And it just kept growing. And I did that when I was living in a little apartment, to getting my first dream home, and on, each step of the way, by giving myself permission to what is the life I want to live, no longer looking to the world to give it to me, feeling what it would feel like and who I would be, and then bringing that to my relationships, to my work, to every area of my life. And it activated that latent potential, that storehouse of riches. It turned on the divine power plant. Remember, a power plant does not receive energy. It doesn't even just have energy. It generates it. I generated the power, the love, the enthusiasm, the inspiration, and then it had to clothe itself in ever evolving, ever expanding, ever increasing forms. I grew myself like the little plant, and then I'll stop and let you talk, because you just pulled my string and it's like, whoosh. I'm like, you can't stop me. You can tell I'm passionate about this. That's one thing I hope you guys are getting. But like a little plant in a little pot, if it grew the way a lot of us do, it would look at all the bigger pots in the field and be like, why do I not have a bigger pot? What's wrong with me? Whoa, look at my little dirt. I don't have a lot. What's the point? Or whatever, right? And then what would happen? It would stay in a little pot. But instead, what it does is it goes, okay, here's the pot I've got. Let me dig my roots as deep as I can. Let me pull as much nutrition as I can. Let me spread my branches as far as I can. And then what happens? It maximizes takes the raw material of that soil and your soul, and it produces and it grows itself out of that pot. And it gets planted in a bigger one and a bigger one. And eventually it's set loose in the field where it can fulfill its complete potential. That is how you were designed to grow. And I hope you're getting excited and inspired that you are the answer you've been waiting for, that you want to know who and what your salvation is. Look in a mirror. It's all in you. And now we want to help you begin to bring it out. And this is the gift about the awakened wealth principle and model. It doesn't matter what conditions you're facing. It doesn't matter if your bank account seems empty, or your body seems broken, or your relationships seem, on their last leg, or no relationship, or your job sucks, or the economy stinks, or the government, or whatever. None of that is a power over you when you learn how to turn on this divine power plant.
Thank you so much, Derek. I love when you share that story, because you're so integrated with the wisdom that you share. Clearly, you've been through it, not once, not twice, but many times.
I'm going through it again right now, a whole nother up leveling. And it's not easy, but it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that too, because I think we're all going through it. We're all up leveling. Those of us who are showing up to do this, we're all going through this up leveling. And whether we're in a beautiful home or whether we're living out of our car, we have the power. And I'm wondering if you would be willing. Now, what you shared was very activating, but I'm wondering if you would be willing to do a short meditation with us to go even deeper and activate that part of us that's powerful, that part of us that's expansive. Because for someone who is living out of their car, for example, and they're feeling the fear and they're feeling the frustration and the anger, for someone who's been trying to do this for 20, 30 years and hasn't been able to break free, could you take us through a meditation that would really go deep within?
Yeah, so why don't we do a little bit of the VVR process, the visualization, vibration, radiation process. And so what I invite you all to do right now is just take a breath. And as you exhale, release any residue of the past. You can always pick it up later. And another breath into your heart. And release any attachment to the future. And one more breath into your heart. And release even the present. We're releasing the past, which is memory, the future, which is fantasy, and even the present, which is imagination. And we're just dropping into this space of the now, which is not in the tenses of time. Feeling our breath, aware of our awareness, that we are pure awareness. It's not in time, and all limitation is in time. There is no limitation in our awareness. This is our true nature. And right here in this moment, literally all of life is available to us. All power, all wisdom, all genius, all guidance, all substance, all wealth and health and wisdom. It's all here in this pure presence. We don't have to pull the past into this to determine what we can open up to. We don't have to worry about how it'll happen in the future. We're not in time. We get to open up to our greatest desire, our greatest vision. And so wherever you may appear to be struggling, now I want you to open up to what is your deepest heart's desire in this area. Give yourself permission to see it, to feel it. Imagine yourself waking up to this life, this vision. See yourself moving through the day with more than enough of whatever you need and want. More than enough time, more than enough energy. You spring out of bed with a prayer in your heart and a song on your lips, your back straight, and you move about your day in abundant love and connection, creativity and opportunity, giving your gifts, enjoying the fruits of life. Just see this version for you, the life of your dreams in this area or is in whatever area that you deeply desire. And give yourself permission to feel what it feels like. You're wealthy, you're healthy, you're happy, you're whole, you're loving, you're loved, you're supported and supplied, you're brilliant and brilliantly expressing your gifts, talents, and abilities. You're wonderfully received in your full and authentic expression. Everything is working together for your highest good. All of your needs are met abundantly. Life supports your every step. And everywhere you turn and every time you turn around, there are blessings and miracles. You walk down the street and people want to shake your hand. You walk into a room and they stand up and applaud you and you don't even know why. It's just everywhere you turn. You're loved, you're celebrated, you're supported, you're recognized, you're rewarded. Give yourself permission to see that and feel how good it feels. And now take a breath into your heart. And as you exhale, let go of the picture and let the feeling expand in your heart and your chest. Even if it's just a little pinprick of goodness, let it expand as you breathe in and breathe out. Feel that power, that joy, that inspiration expand in your chest. And now breathe in again. And as you breathe out, feel and allow that feeling to expand into your whole body, radiating this energy, seeing your cells drink it up. You can give it a color so that it is a feeling and a color that is shimmering and radiating through your body. And take another deep breath into your heart. And as you exhale, you now feel it radiating beyond your body like a bubble of joy or inspiration, expansiveness, filling every area of your life. See it radiating, saturating every area, every crevice, your workspace, your home space, your office space, your relationships, all the people. See this color and energy just saturating everyone and everything. And feel how good it feels that you're not looking or seeking anything. You're radiating it. You are the source. You're blessing everyone, everything. You're saturating everything. You are the light and the life and the energy of abundance. And now take another breath in. And as you exhale this time, see it saturating the whole planet. You can even put your hands in front of you and imagine the planet like a small ball in front of you. And it's radiating through and from your heart and your body, through your hands, just saturating the planet, everyone, every being, every creature, just saturated with this love and this light and this energy. Feel how good it feels to be the source. Feel how expansive it feels to be the channel of grace and love and abundance. And in this space right now, you are one with all resource. And you are no longer leaning on resource, but you are leaning on and living from the source. And you are a blessing unto everyone and everything. And now from this place, notice that it's circling back to you. It's a circle, it's a cycle, it's a circuit, it's circulating. Every place and person that has been blessed, it's now they've breathed in your blessing and they're breathing it back out. And it's circulating back to you. All of that energy magnified and multiplied, coming back, streaming back to you, into your body, into your heart, into every area of your life. Breathe that in, and as you breathe out, it circulates back to everyone and everything. And just for a moment, be in that flow of breath, receiving the whole of life, blessing you, and being the blessing for the whole of life. And as you're holding that, I'll anchor this all in a quantum prayer, just simply knowing that all there is life and love, and its only agenda is to fulfill the potential in every seed. That's it. Life is not fixing, changing, healing, controlling. All of life has only one desire: to fulfill its beloved, to fulfill the potential in every creature, in every being, in every seed, and in all of creation. And we are now one with the one. We are now in league with the infinite. We are now aligned with all the power, the presence, the substance, the love, the wisdom, the genius of life. We are now a channel of it, a transparency of it. And any thought, belief, feeling, pattern, historical perspective, anything that would hinder, block, delay, or deny the fullness of life from rushing through us, to us, as us, in manifesting heaven on earth in every step that we take, in everything that we make. Anything that was in the way is dissolving and disintegrating back into pure potential. We are free, we are open, we are unlimited, we are available. A miracle is taking place now. This cosmic activity of inexhaustible life and love is now being localized in our body of affairs, in our relationships, our work. Everything is being infused with this life, light, and love now. And it's breaking out as new insights, new clarity, crystal clarity of who and what we are and why we're alive, of guidance, compelling right action, healing, and opportunity. It's showing up now with ease and with grace and with dignity. On time, in time now. All needs are met. All of life is for us. Breathe that in. The seed is fully planted, fertilized, and it is breaking through the surface now as new beginnings, new abundance, rich fruits. Thank you, life. Thank you, Great Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Shalom. Aho.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And you guys, if you resonate with what just happened here, I can promise you this is a small piece of what Derek brings in the Awaken Wealth Mastery program. So, Derek, I would love for you to share. Tell us what this program is all about and what you are planning to bring to us this year.
Yeah, absolutely. See if I can find practical words from this space. Yeah, wow. All right, so awakened wealth. We are it right now. This is awakened wealth.
This is it right there. Absolutely.
So basically, this is a program and a framework with very specific principles and practices in a very specific sequence. Like a recipe, you have to have the right ingredients and you have to understand the right sequence. And if you do, you'll have a cake. If you don't, you'll have a pancake. So this program comes from over 20 years of my own trial and error and struggle and all the challenges we've talked about. And then working not only in the laboratory of my own life, but with tens of thousands of people around the world, from various people in bankruptcy, on the verge of bankruptcy, losing their homes, their families, their jobs, all manner of challenges. And through practicing what I've codified, step by step, have gone from bankruptcy to more business than they could handle, have gone from living in their car, living on dozens of prescriptions alone, to getting off all the prescriptions. In this one case, I remember all but like one or two, getting their first home, getting engaged, getting married, all manner of making more money in a month than they'd ever made, discovering their work and launching it, all many of them during this period of the training that I take them through. And it's an 8-week period. And then for many of them, I've been getting a lot of testimonials. It's interesting because I didn't solicit them. And nobody even didn't even know that this was coming out. But a lot of past students are now sending me more testimonials about how, as I said before, when the seed is planted and the soil is cultivated, some of the seeds will germinate now, but some will germinate later because they're laying a root system. And so I'm getting these testimonies now of, I knew it was working then, but I had no idea what was happening. And all these things that have been coming for people, huge opportunities, huge businesses, huge amounts of wealth, whole new relationships and all kinds of things. It's like we plant a field through this program of seeds of possibility. And then some of them germinate, debt is eliminated. Like I said, all these things happen, but it's a field that I'll also show you how to keep cultivating, that will keep bringing forth rich fruits, harvest after harvest, season after season. And it's an 8-week program. And I take you through step by step how to discover your awakened wealth vision, and how to discover a vision of your life, and also get very practical to understand what will it really take to live that vision. Who will you have to become? What amount of wealth will it require? And then how to develop that consciousness, that character, those success habits, so that you put all of your wealth and success creation ultimately on autopilot. Because your conditions don't determine your destiny, your character does. Your character is built from your habits. It's like the programming. Your habits are built from what you commit to consistently. The problem is we've all got a character and we've all got a destiny unfolding, but it's happened mostly by default, or it's come from a lot of shadows, as we talked about, or limited beliefs of what's possible, being stuck in conditions and not knowing our power. I'm going to show you how to create new success patterns, mental, emotional, and physical, and build those into permanent habits so that you have the character that produces a destiny of greatness, a destiny of abundance, a system software replacement or upgrade that allows it to begin to happen automatically. And so that's what we're going to build through these 8 weeks. And we're going to get very practical. You're going to look at numbers, and you're going to discover any shadows hiding underneath those rocks. It's one of the most powerful things for people, because I'm going to show you where you have values conflicts, where you have wealth shadows, where you have been hypnotized by the hypnotic wealth spells, like wealth is not spiritual, or money is wealth and things are wealth, or that you have to believe it to receive it and achieve it. All of these limited core spells. When you're under a hypnotic spell, you see things that aren't there, and you don't see things that are. And I'm going to show you how to snap out of that finally and see a world of possibility that's been right in front of you. You know, the old experience where you suddenly get a new car, a new pair of shoes, and you see them everywhere. And so it's already here. There's opportunities everywhere. There's low-hanging fruit everywhere, but you have a cognitive dissonance because of the shadows and the values conflicts and the wealth spells that don't allow you to see it. I'm going to recondition and help you recondition your ability to see all of the fruits that are in the field of your life, in your relationship, in your work, so that you can begin to gather them. This is what Jesus was talking about when he said, look, behold, lift up your eyes and behold. Because all the people are saying, when's the harvest going to come? When's all the good going to come? And he said, it's already here. The fields are white and ripe under the harvest now, but there are not enough laborers to go into the field. I'm going to show you how to expand your awareness and see the abundance everywhere. And as thou seest, so thou beest. What you see, you become. So I'm going to show you how to do that very practically with the Money Mastery Matrix, the Money Mastery Map, the Money Miracle Goal, where you're going to create a 40-day goal to break through and blast through your wealth limitations, and ultimately create the Money Mastery Plan, where you're going to develop a vision of a life, truly the life of your dreams, and how to become it and how to grow into it. And I'll tell you too about the Money Miracle Goal. This is a really fun part, because you don't exactly know how it's going to happen, and it pops out in so many miraculous ways. People have, like I said, debt eliminated, tens and tens of thousands of debt. People have suddenly their husband or wife gets an unexpected promotion or a bonus or some will from somewhere, and it's the exact amount of the Money Miracle Goal. This kind of thing happens all the time. So I'm going to show you how to create that. We're going to walk through it together. That's the other thing. This is live. So, I only do this, if at all, once a year live. And I haven't done it every year. And so if you want to get this activation, because it's not just information, it's activation and transformation. I'm going to do a lot of quantum healing work every single day for you, so that it's mitigating and dissolving a lot of the lower frequencies that have been holding you back and keeping you in these loops, and activating a lot of the latent potential. Some of the people, even once they step into this field, the minute they register and they get into this field, I've had emails come in saying, I just got a call, this debt that was owed to me, suddenly they called me out of the blue and they're paying it back. And
you
even people,
the quantum field that you set up with this program.
Exactly. We're creating a quantum field. Another term for it is a morphic field or an attractor pattern. And it begins to work on you even before you work on yourself. If you've ever pulled in behind a semi and you get pulled into the updraft, you can take your foot off the brake and it'll pull you. This field will pull you and it will lift you. And as I said, it will reduce the noise and create more resonance and help you to more easily come into alignment. And this is important because you may want this, but there's a lot of unconscious resistance to doing what it takes to take your life to the next level. It's one of the biggest barriers, even when you have all the right tools, is actually using them and showing up. So this quantum field we found reduces enough of that resistance, enough of that drag, that you find yourself able to show up, able to follow through. And then there's many layers of support. You're going to get to work with a private coach to have a Awaken Wealth breakthrough work to help design your plan and uncover your unconscious patterns sabotaging your success. You're obviously going to get to work with me for 8 weeks, 5 core weeks, 3 integration workshops, and then even beyond that, an Ask Derek Anything forum where you can keep getting support from me and my coaches. You're going to be part of a mastermind group that are galvanizing this energy and information and activating it together. And as the ancient scripture says, where 2 or more are gathered in agreement, there I am. Meaning the larger pattern of potential emerges because of that collective agreement. It breaks the agreements with the world and creates a new contract with your soul. I mean, there's so much here, but it's very simple, step by step. I'm going to walk you through and help you implement and create a structure and a plan and a follow through and a follow-up process so that you stay on track all the way until you get results. So if you want this, if you're ready to stop getting ready and you're feeling the urgency of emergence and you don't want it to become an emergency, or maybe it already has, this is the one time we're doing this live. This is part of my core mission, because it's not just about money. It's about me getting you tapped back into your source of power and purpose and potential and genius so that you are no longer a victim of circumstances. And if you want that, please help me to help you, as Jerry Maguire would say, and come play with us.
It sounds amazing, Derek. I know one of the things that you talk about is having channels of your wealth or your purpose show up in, myriad ways. There are infinite ways that your wealth channels can show up. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Absolutely. And by the way, there's a link. I think there's a link below. And if not, where do they go?
creationtemple.com/Derek.
Got it. creationtemple.com/Derek. That's perfect. Creation Temple. We are creating a temple of creation. You are the temple of creation. That's perfect. creationtemple.com/Derek. Yeah. So what you're speaking to is another big piece of this. When you realize all of life comes through you and from you, whatever's missing is what you're not giving or generating or circulating. Then you also begin to realize nobody is ever your source, but everyone is a potential channel. And when you understand that, especially for those of you, well, really in any area, where you want more from your partner or from your boss or your colleagues, or you're selling something as a coach, author, teacher, healer, consultant, entrepreneur, whatever, a lot of times we struggle as heart-centered, spiritually minded people to charge what we're worth, to ask for what we really want and need, and as much as we really want and need, again, because of the shadows, which we're going to uncover and release and integrate. But when you really understand that they're not your source, they're a channel. I'm going to show you how to turn any transactional relationship into a transformational one. And that when you are able to understand and apply this, when you ask for what you want or charge what you're worth or get that promotion you deserve and desire, you don't take a piece of the pie and now it's smaller. The pie gets bigger. They become a bigger channel as a result of how you will learn to interact with them. They will have more, never less. And so through the interaction with our channels, we create and manifest a bigger and bigger and bigger pie. No longer is it a zero-sum game. It's an infinite sum game. And the more you circulate your wealth and abundance, the more you're willing to receive your wealth and abundance, the more wealth and abundance there is for everyone. And together, we can create a world that truly works for the highest good of everyone. No longer do you have to feel guilty or ashamed if you have a lot, because through this process, you having a lot, wealth, health, beauty, abundance, brilliance, success, it will flourish all around you. You will go from being maybe a swamp to an oasis where all of life begins to drink from, and it grows and spreads until the barren, cracking desert that we might see out there becomes a garden again. That's what we're creating here. And if you want to be part of that movement and mission, and you want that in your own life, then this is definitely going to be a powerful, powerful experience for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Derek. I just one last time I want to reiterate what you were saying. If you are somebody who knows you have a mission, but maybe you can't quite access that desire, or maybe you've accessed the desire and you can't quite figure out how to nurture that desire, or maybe you haven't allowed yourself to have wealth, whether it's money or passion or love or whatever it is that that desire is, I strongly invite you to check out Derek's Awaken Wealth Mastery program. Go to creationtemple.com/Derek to get more information and to register, because this is something that can really have you cover a lot of material in a short amount of time to propel you forward in your mission. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Derek, for taking the time. Go ahead.
It's my joy. It's my honor. I just want to say also that, yeah, it's deep dive, it's comprehensive, but it's highly, highly activating. And hopefully you felt just a little bit of that in that little activation process. It's not hard work. It's simple, and it will bring up and release the parts that no longer serve you. And I'm going to hold you, and we're going to hold you through that. Because one way or the other, if you want the life, a bigger and better and more abundant life, you have to let more life come out of you. And so I'm going to support you in that. But it's also that you're in this field that you'll be nurtured by and activated by. And it will mitigate a lot of that stress and resistance. And, you know, I think it was the last class, the one before, I think so far there's about $3 to $5 million more people have manifested through the last few times we've done this. Tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands in debt that's been eliminated. People discovering their purpose, launching their business, filling their practice. So I really want you to understand this isn't just theoretical. This isn't just about sitting around and meditating and contemplating our navel. This isn't just about feeling good, although that's very, very important. This is about me supporting you in becoming channels and distribution centers of more life, more love, more power, more wealth, so that you can fund your visions instead of fueling your fear, and bring your gifts to the world so that together we can create a world that works. That's what's really going on here. So I just want you to know that there's a lot of power in this group. And if you feel that pull, if you feel that yes, that is the more of you trying to emerge. And it's okay if it's bumping into a yes, but. That's very understandable. Yes, but I don't have the time. Yes, but I don't have the money. Yes, but I don't have the support. Yes, but I don't have the energy. Yes, but I tried so many things and it didn't happen. And what if this doesn't work? And I want you to understand, if you're feeling the resonance, the desire, that's the truth. That's what I want to help you master, saying yes to your yes, not yes to your butt. Having your butt in your mouth is bad yoga. Okay, you might be a good contortionist, but it's not good yoga. So it's okay to have that, but I want you to understand that's called a threshold of the ego. And it's basically you're right up against the border of your potential, of your known map of reality. And the only way to be more and have more is you must cross that chasm, that threshold. And like in Indiana Jones, where there's that chasm and he's got to cross it, and it says it's the leap of faith and the path of God, only when he steps out does the bridge appear beneath his feet. If you wait to feel sure, if you wait to have the time, energy, money, support, you'll continue to have the excuse, I don't have the time, energy, money, support, and you'll never cross the chasm. And you'll be like most people that live the same, don't live 70 to 90 years, but they live the same year 70 to 90 times. Just going in a loop, never getting escape velocity to take off. If you're feeling the yes, believe me, I know it. The but is the edge. You must cross over. And I want to help you walk across that bridge to the other side, and permanently and sustainably take your life to the next level. So don't listen to the but, just listen to the yes. Come join with us, come play with us, and leave all of those excuses on the other side of that chasm. And I just love and appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. I hope at the very least this has served you, inspired you, and fed you. And I can't wait to connect with you all in a more deeper and personal way.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you so much.
Thank you.